Welcome to Modifying Your Science Talk for Non-Expert Audiences. In the abbreviated version of this course, I'm going to give you an overview of the basics of the differences between presenting scientific presentations to an expert audience and to a non-expert audience. You will finish the abbreviated course with the knowledge of how to begin modifying your talk for a non-expert audience and a plethora of resources to guide you. In the full version of this course, you can engage in a side-by-side comparison of two scientific talks, one for an expert and one for a non-expert audience, and dive deeper into the differences between these talks with a guided activity. In this video, we are going to discuss the outlines of acing a scientific presentation for a non-expert audience and the basics of curating your talk for any audience. We are going to describe the key components of an audience analysis that will help you modify your talk. Let's get started. Presenting any talk is centered around three key components: audience, context, and engagement. Defining the first two and structuring your talk for engagement with your audience and context give you an ace to a successful talk. Picture this. You are a professional scientist and you are going to listen to a guest lecturer give an introduction to how gene modifications can increase the efficiency of photosynthesis in some plants. However, this professor has greatly underestimated the knowledge of their audience and begins just presenting on what photosynthesis is. They give you a vague overview, maybe, of some of the genes that they found that affect the rate, but they don't really discuss their data, results, or methods. How would you feel? In our second scenario, you are going to a literature symposium for literature enthusiasts. You're going to listen to one of your favorite historical fiction authors talk about their research process for writing books. However, instead of a more general overview that you and your audience expected with crafting a history, the presenter begins speaking about the anthropological context of native document examinations and doing an active comparison of two historical documents. The terms that they're using are largely field-specific jargon, and when they go through the background and the data of the documents, it's very specific. Rather than leaving you with a conclusion, they leave you with some future directions of analysis instead of that broad overview that you were initially hoping for. In both of these scenarios, the presenter failed to present to their audience or for the context in which they had been asked to speak. Talks should be curated to the audience and appropriate for the audience's knowledge level. Otherwise, your audience will not be engaged and will leave the talk disappointed. Being audience-centered ensures that your talk is heard. One of the ways to ensure that your talk is appropriate for your audience is through completing an audience analysis and building an audience profile. The first step to our audience profile is to understand what our audience's knowledge is about our topic. Again, if you present to a level that is inappropriate to how much they understand, your audience is going to quickly lose interest in what you are saying, just like in our first two scenarios. The second important piece of information about our audience are our demographics. What is their age, their education level, their genders, their economic statuses? You can get a lot of this information from census government information, and that will help you understand the audience's prior knowledge and other aspects that can impact your audience analysis. Third, we want to understand the interest. Why is our audience there? Is this a mandatory talk? Are they there because they are interested in your topic? Are they trying to learn more about your career field or work? There are many reasons the audience could attend a talk, and knowing that reason will help you gauge the energy in the room. Fourth, we want to know more about the environment. When and where are you speaking? Small venues and roundtable talks provide a much different environment for audience interaction than speaking in a large auditorium. You should anticipate how much you want to interact with your audience and how you can do that based on your venue. In addition, timing of your talk, if it's early mornings or late nights, may require more energy to engage your audience. The next thing we want to consider are the needs. What does our audience want from our talk? Are they expecting to learn something about your talk, your research, your career? Are you training them to accomplish a task? What are the specific needs in attending your talk? Second to last, we want to know if we need to customize our talk in any way and curate the information that we are sharing, specifically with considering the audience's opinion on the topic. If you're presenting any sort of science, you may have an audience member who thinks it is controversial or doesn't fully understand the science. Knowing their opinion ahead of time and leveraging your credentials can help you modify your talk and ensure that the message that you want to be received is what is on the other end. Finally, we want to know about our audience's expectations. What are they expecting to gain and learn from our talk? With all of this information, we can build our audience profile and complete an audience analysis. Now it's your turn. You can conduct an audience analysis by building an audience profile. Consult data.census.gov or Policy Map for demographic information, and to get information about your venue and audience expectations, the event organizer is going to be your person to go to. Good luck!